3. Hello class, my name is Mr. Ortiz, and today we will be talking about the wonders of how the Earth's surface changes slowly over time. Have you ever wondered, as you're driving by to school, you see a hill or a big mountain or a river, as you're driving to school, that you begin to notice month after month that the mountain or the hill begins to get smaller and smaller, or that river that you see begins to widen more and more each time that you visit the river. That is because of weathering and erosion. Weathering is the breaking down of rocks into smaller rocks. So that hill or that mountain that you see, it may have a peak or it may be really, really tall. But with the wind, the water, the rain, all of that begins to weather it down bits by bits. Erosion has a lot of effect on the river. As the river, the rapid river is rushing through, it begins to take pieces of rocks and sand that are on the banks of the river. So as the current takes it all the way as it is going, it begins to widen it more by little bit by little bit. So as we have this example of weathering, it has to do with the changes of temperature. So as a rock that has cracks, as rain begins to fall, that water seeps into the cracks. As the temperature changes overnight and it gets colder, the water freezes. The water that stayed in between the cracks, it freezes. As that the ice widens the cracks, therefore the weathering has begun. Pieces of the rock breaks off, and then erosion takes it off. So we have a little experiment to better clarify your guys' views over weathering and erosion. We have 2 cookies. These cookies represent the land or the rocks of the earth. There are also more forms of weathering other than the temperature. We have plants, trees. That kind of weathering happens as the roots push through the earth or through the earth's surface. Plants, as they grow up, they push through the surface, breaking the earth. As well as animals. As animals, the ecosystem, as they walk, they break the land, they just live in the earth, so therefore they are weathering the land. So here we have 2 toothpicks. These toothpicks will represent the plants and the animals. Okay, so as we have, as you can see, the animals that are living on the earth, as they walk, they begin to break the land pieces by pieces. You can see the toothpick representing the plants makes a hole in the land, and you can see all of the little crumbs here that begin to pop out. That is the broken pieces of land. Trees, as they grow up, they begin to break the land pieces by pieces. Now, erosion would be wind. Wind is the biggest known type of erosion that happens because we have wind all over. We have water as well, but wind is the most common that you will see. So we have a straw, and this straw will represent the erosion. So as you can see, as the broken down rock, broken down land, begins to move. As I blew into the straw, it moved all of the pieces of the rock, the cookie. It spreads it all out. That's exactly how erosion works. You have this mountain, this hill, the wind that's hitting it in the desert, sandstorms, all of that. That is how erosion works. So as you can see, it's going to push it into the corner. All of that right there would be a deposition. That deposition is where the weathered rocks end up. So they have to end up somewhere, right? So that is what is called the deposition. Whenever all of the pieces of rock end up, that would be the deposition. We also have some water here. This would represent the rain. So we would put the rain on the cookie as if it were the land. And we begin to see how quickly the water is absorbed by the cookie. And we get to see how it begins to make the land really moist. that would be the topsoil. This is how, as you can see, it gets very moist, and this would create the mud. It changes the land. It is no longer the hard rock. It's now soft and squishy. And then we get the erosion again. So we see how the erosion was able to push off all of that mud from the surface, which moves it on to the different areas, and once it dries up, it forms new lands. So that will be it for today, and this would be how erosion and weathering works. Thank you.